This has been the winter break of reading YA dystopian literature, so it's only fitting that I finish out the break with a review of Allegiant by Veronica Roth, the third book in the Divergent trilogy. If you have not read this book yet, I can't talk about it without insinuating some things from Insurgent. So if you haven't read Insurgent, you might not want to be here. At least not right now. Come back to it later. The point is that this book picks up exactly where Insurgent left off, with out with the video, up with the uproar, in a way. Massive panic ensues, and eventually Triss, Pryor, and her friends must find their way out of the city of Chicago and explore what is beyond the fence. Allegiant was interesting because it's told from two perspectives. It's told from Triss's perspective and told from Tobias's perspective. And when I first realized that it was a dual perspective book, I got very concerned because I thought there was a specific reason that the author was doing this, and it turns out that I was right. But as the book went on, I became really thankful for the dual perspectives, and I thought it worked very well to tell this story, especially when you're getting out of one person's headspace that's been telling you the story for the past two novels, and into trying to understand a world that is so radically different from what you've always known. I think it's tough for anyone to process new surroundings, especially when you've had your entire way of life completely shattered. But in ways, it's even harder for us as readers to understand the characters' issues with their new world, because we're so familiar with so many things about that world, and we can't just tell them what they need to know. They have to find it out at their own rate as the plot progresses. So here we are, knowing about the United States of America, and here they are discovering how destroyed it's become. That, I think, is the first disconnect that comes up in this book. In terms of plot, it's completely unavoidable as a disconnect, but nevertheless, it's difficult to internally process what these characters are internally processing when we have such a different understanding and such incredibly more knowledgeable understanding of the world that they are being thrust into is. That being said, this book is my second favorite of the trio. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars, and of course I couldn't do a review without touching on the ending. When I went to Goodreads to switch from want to read to currently reading on this title, I noticed in the reviews that everyone had been saying, oh, the last 50 pages made me cry, I'm so upset with the ending, I don't know if I'll ever get over it, and so I was just really worried, especially with the whole dual perspective aspect, and in the end I spent about a day being really, really unhappy. I was snapping at people and crying sporadically, and it's entirely due to this book. In classic Veronica Roth style, there is a very large climactic moment at the end of the novel, and you, as the reader, get torn apart in the same way that the characters get torn apart. But that being said, just to sort of calm everyone to the best that I can, what happens is a logical progression. It is a logical plot progression, and to me, I don't think there's any other way that this story could have ended. It ended the way that it did, and I think I was more upset about the aftermath and reading what happens after that moment rather than the moment itself. At this point in the series, all of these characters are comfortable with fear and sadness, and we should be comfortable with reading about their fear and their sadness, but for some reason, this book just throws into sharp relief how massive that fear and sadness has yet to become. So I have to award Veronica Roth with the phrase, bold choice, my friend, bold choice. But that doesn't mean I have to like it. So in the end, 3.5 out of 5 stars to my second favorite book in the Divergent series, Allegiant. It's a clear, strong, concrete ending to a good series. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend that you do. And if you haven't read Insurgent, why are you still here? I have just spoiled so many things for you. Like always, thanks for watching. Anything you might want to know about us is in the Wunderbar, and have lovely weeks and lovely lives, and I will see you very soon. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have a problem with that.